So I'm going to quickly say reasoning, and that's where the system is processing in totality what you've asked it and then giving you an answer. So we've got right here a more thorough answer, more thought out, and we've got more information. Even right here, it says, hey, global uncertainty, particularly around Trump's tariffs, is another factor. The tariffs began yesterday, et cetera. And so this is talking right here about a big one, global events regarding Trump's tariffs. It puts it all together for me. Now, there's another layer deeper, which is I can go to deep search and I can ask the same question and says, what's causing rates to drop today using deep search? When I do that, you remember up here, it took 24 seconds to think. It looked at 2 posts from X. This is how Grok uses the X data, formerly known as Twitter. And then it looked at 25 web pages. Well, now if I go down here, it's looking, it gives me all the same detail. It gives me a breakdown of what it's looking at. It's looked at 6 posts on X. It's already at 19 web pages, and I'm already at 28 seconds, and it's still at the first stage of exploring article details. So it's getting more web pages. It is deeper research. Again, the system is faster. So in 36 seconds, viewing 29 sources, it's now breaking it out different. Remember, this was just reasoning, thinking. And then I've got deep search, which is more detail. And it says, okay, so it seems like rates are dropping today due to recent tariffs imposed by President Trump, causing fears of a trade war and recession. Okay, so it's giving me, it's breaking it out into a more digestible method. Now, there's a method to my madness here, and I want you guys to stick with me because I'm going to build this together to help you understand how to use it in your business. So I've got all of this data, and it's giving me more information, giving me more links. It's giving me more of a breakdown. It's giving me more supporting documentation. It may be way more than what you need, but if you watched my last presentation in March, I talked about priming the system because AI is best considered to be the smartest person you know that knows everything about everything, but doesn't understand anything about the context of what you're trying to accomplish. And so if you have the biggest brain and somebody asks you a question, you could go in 100 different directions because you have so much information at your fingertips. But if somebody starts asking you questions that gets you focused on something, and you are, there's an old joke, and I'm going to butcher the joke, but it's like, what's 99 plus 1? 100. What's 999 plus 1? 1,000. What's 1,099 plus 1? 2,000? No, it's not. It's 1,100. But I had your brain going down the road of thinking, well, the 99 plus 1 is 100. 999 is 1,000. Therefore, 1,099 becomes 2,000. No, it doesn't. And so your brain was thinking on that road. I hope the context makes sense of what I'm explaining. You want to get the brain of the AI thinking about what you want it to talk about. And so now I've got all of this data, but Grok goes one step deeper. Grok has something called deeper search. So I now go in here and I go deeper search. And this one took 36 seconds to complete and 29 sources. Let's see what this one comes up with. I'm going to leave here really quickly. I'm going to show you some other thoughts of what deep research can look like on different platforms so that you can have a feel for how it works. So the gold standard right now is ChatGPT, and it is right here. So I did just like, I don't know, a half hour ago, I said, how is the new presidential administration going to impact mortgage rates and housing prices? Just yesterday, Trump announced tariffs and rates are falling today. What's the impact of things like employment, inflation, and DOGE, and what should we be looking at over the next few weeks, months, and years? And what are the possible outcomes based on different scenarios? So that was a pretty thorough question. The truth is you could have asked AI to help you create a deep research prompt, okay? But I'm going to show you that in a minute. I'm just simply going to explain. ChatGPT on the $20 a month plan gives you 5 of these a month because it takes a lot of computing power. So 5 a month is all you get. So you don't want to use these random or willy-nilly. Well, the first thing ChatGPT said is, hey, John, that's a great question, but could you clarify something for me? Because I just want to make sure I got it right before I start investing my time into this research. And so it asked me some questions. And I answered those questions. And it said, great, I'm going to dive into this. I'll factor in all of this stuff. It took 10 minutes of research time, 10 minutes that it took before it gave me this answer. But it now gave me a thesis statement, like a college level thesis on what is going on, introduction into what's happening, the backdrop of where we are, the macroeconomic outlook for inflation and growth, pulled in statistics for me with a table in here, talked about different factors that could be causing things like tariffs. Really, really, really thorough, way more thorough than most of us need. I think I've done 2 or 3 of these in the last month or two. Like, I rarely use ChatGPT's deep research, but if it's something that I want to get a really good baseline that I can now use that research as the basis to ask more questions, as the basis to create more social media posts or videos, because I want to take that topic and I want to dive deeper. Well, if I want to be an expert in something, then you want to gather all of the information that you can, have it at your fingertips, and use that data as your presentation point to be the expert in that category. That's what I'm describing here. So this is giving you a really, really deep look at all of the information, way more than any of the other systems. So I'll show you a couple other systems that I asked this same question to. So it gives me housing market overview, rates, prices, and construction costs. I'm not going to read this to you. By the way, if you want a copy of this, I'll send it to you. Before diving into specific perspectives, it's important to outline how the housing market's fundamentals are being influenced at a high level. Mortgage rates, house prices and construction costs, housing demand and affordability. I didn't ask any of that, but it brought it in there. Impact for primary homeowners. In the next few months, immediate effects will be felt mostly indirectly. Those with fixed rate mortgages, it's no big deal, but they'll notice a change in market value of homes and the ease of selling or buying. In the short run, expect a period of uncertainty and volatility in home values. Sellers may find buyer sentiment fickle. News of tariffs and economic jitters could cause some buyers to pull back or wait, especially if mortgage rates spike upwards suddenly. On the other hand, any dip in mortgage rates, should investors flee to bonds, might spur a brief flurry of buying as house owners try to lock in interest rates. So really good information. Now it's giving me like long-term of 2 to 3 years over the multi-year horizon. They're going to see home prices, taxes, and the economic climate, et cetera, et cetera. Impact on investors in the short term and in the long term, impact on lenders and mortgage companies in the short term and the long term, and then impact on realtors and the housing industry in the short term and the long term. So really, really, really thorough. Investor sentiment and speculative asset trades, et cetera. Key indicators and developments to monitor. Scenario analysis and possible outcomes. We could have a soft landing. We could end up with stagflation and recession. And what's that going to mean? We could end up with, and well, it's the two scenarios, and then here's their conclusion. Like, super thorough. Nothing is as thorough as ChatGPT's deep research right now. Nothing. This gave me way more information than I need. I took the same question and I pasted it into Grok. Remember, ChatGPT took 10 minutes and I only get 5 of those a month. For $20 a month in Grok, I can do this as often as I want. It took 3.5 minutes, or 3 minutes. And remember, Grok's twice as fast. So that's like 6 minutes in ChatGPT world. And it checked 44 sources. ChatGPT checked, I think it was 20 something. Anyway, the point is, Grok came up with its own version of all of this. And you can do it as often as you want. It's giving you high-level overviews. It just wasn't as thorough as what ChatGPT does. So you have to decide, do you want to just be on ChatGPT? That's great. Then just know you can only use this 5 times in a 30-day timeline. Okay. If you want to use it all the time because you like the idea, then you can, first of all, you can go to the $200 a month plan on ChatGPT, and you can use it 100 times a month. Maybe it's 50. But the point is, you can use it a lot. I don't know anybody that really thinks it's worth paying $200 a month for that. I certainly am not. So now this gave me a pretty decent overview, but most importantly, it's giving me some really good links. It's giving me information that I can then link to if I want to dig deeper instead of a Google search. Okay. Because let me tell you what we all would do. First of all, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to go into Google. I don't Google anything anymore. Okay. So I'm going to go, actually, I am in Google. I don't need to go to Google. And I'm going to say, first of all, let's go to this question, which is, what is causing rates to drop today? So if I ask that in Google, which is the go-to for most of us historically, and if I say that in Google, it's just giving me a bunch of articles. U.S. stock market tumbles the day after Trump's major tariff. Today's mortgage rates, they dip on Trump's tariff. Here's some exact rates. And I just have a bunch of articles. I'm responsible. You are responsible for digging in and figuring out and pulling the data together into something that is explainable and usable. That's where deep research solves that problem for you. Instead of reading all these articles, I can go in here and I can see the overview, and then I can click on the links depending upon how, if I ask for deeper research, it gives me all the links right in here. So as I'm reading about this, it's giving me all of the answers in one place. It pulls it all together. Nothing that you get from AI is guaranteed to be accurate. It's pulling together information from the internet. But you're responsible for validating, going to the sources, just like when we first learned how to Google things and search stuff online. You can't believe everything you read online. Don't believe everything you read in research that you're doing. But it's using the same concepts you used before that says you validate and you vet the information. But now you take it one step further. By the way, real quick, Gemini is another one that does, if you're already a Google user, if you have Google Suite, Gemini is built into Google and it can do a similar thing. So Gemini did the same thing and it did a deep research with exactly the same question and gave me a very thorough outlook, a very thorough feel. It just isn't as thorough, but actually pretty good. I think it did better than Grok, but not as thorough as what ChatGPT did. Okay. So how do you use this? So I'm going to use, go back to ChatGPT. I've got this really, really thorough breakdown. And first of all, I can copy this and share it. I can actually copy the link. So like right now, I'm going to paste the link right here. So this is Grok's version. It's okay. I'm giving you Grok's version right now. I didn't realize I was in Grok. I wasn't paying attention. All right. In ChatGPT, I've got this super long breakdown. I can share this whole thing. So I create a link and I can share this whole thing. Actually, this one, oh, this is in my private version, so this only shares with members of my team. So we have it's called a team account for ChatGPT, and it's private within our walls, so I can't share this one. I could certainly copy this and share it with people that way. Or I could do it on public version. But let me show you how you take this to the next level. Okay, so I took it out of deep research. I took it, I want to now say, hey, I want this one to help me. I want to use 4.5, great for writing and exploring ideas. I want to brainstorm how to use this information to update my client base of homeowners, buyers, and realtors. What of this info would matter to them, and how do you think I should present it? Okay, so I've now gotten a really, really good context of information. I'm on the same chain of conversation, and I'm asking a question of, hey, how do I use this? What should I do with it so that I can make more money, so that I can enhance my client experience? So I don't know what it's going to say. We're giving it a shot right now. Here's how you can distill this information for your audiences. So first of all, break down key information by audience. For homeowners, mortgage rates, volatility, possibly lower in the short term. Home values, expect fluctuations. Equity position, strong equity position over recent years proves resilient, provides resiliency, and is an important reassurance. For home buyers, It's likely going to be volatile, etc. I'm going to wait for it to finish, but I'm going to give you some ideas of where I go from here. So now I say, okay, help me create a template of a video is one of the next things I'm going to do. Is I'm going to say, help me to create a template of a video for me to send to my past clients. What are the bullet points that I should cover, and how long do you think it should be? So again, actually, it's already given me step 2, suggested communication forms. So it's taking everything that I did, it's giving me a whole bunch of ideas. Don't get overwhelmed with the ideas. Narrow it down. This is your partner in business. Your AI is your partner in business. So talk to it, brainstorm with it is exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so video updates, weekly market updates, Mortgage Matter, Zoom link, email or Market Watch, etc. Okay, it's still thinking. I'm kind of done with it. I'm a little over it. So I'm going to stop it from creating info. And I'm going to say, let's narrow this down. I want to do a video to my past client homeowners. What? Give me an outline for the video. Okay, so I'm going to have it give me an outline for the video. And let's see what it comes up with. All right, so it should be 5 to 8 minutes long. It's going to be breakdown, friendly greeting. I'm not friendly, so therefore I got to skip that part. State the purpose of it. So it's giving me a breakdown of everything that it is going to do. Now, if you have the paid version of ChatGPT, just the $20 a month version, there was an upgrade last week. It was huge. Their ability to create images is absolutely amazing. So once this is done, and I'm going to give it a minute here to get done, I'm going to explain this to you. Images have been, once it's done, I'm going to ask it to create, I'm going to ask it for a few things. Help me come up with a title. Then help me come up with an image of my thumbnail for the video. And you're going to watch me do it. And then I'm going to ask it to give me a description of the video that I can put into YouTube or Facebook or wherever I'm doing it. Okay, so it's breaking down everything that I should be talking about, and it's done. And so now I'm going to say, perfect. Now give me 10 ideas for titles as I want to put this on YouTube. Okay, so it's now going to give me 10 ideas. Again, I want to demonstrate for you guys how you take all of the information that you have at your fingertips and have it help you actually make money. Okay. Now you might not want to make a video on this. You might just want to do a social media post. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. So it's giving me 10 ideas. Let's see what we like here. Oh, let's go with clickbait. Let's go with number 6. Is your mortgage safe? Tariffs, inflations, and your next steps. All right. No, I like number 8 better. Economic uncertainty, what it means for homeowners like you. Number 8, please. Make me an image. Oh, I got to switch to 4.0. Okay, so right now I'm going to switch over to 4.0 because that's the new system that can create images. So now I've switched to 4.0. I'm in the same chat, and now I'm saying make me an image I can use as a YouTube thumbnail. And I'm going to click create image. And now it's going to create an image. Now, one of the things I've done in the past is just in the last week, I said, hey, give me 5 ideas of images in plain English. And so it tells me in words, because you'll see it's going to take a little bit to create this image. And so it's going to tell me in words, and I'm going to say, oh, I like what you're describing in numbers 1 and 4. Give me those 2, and it will create both of them for me. This is the image creation tool that got upgraded last week that you're watching create right now, is the #1 used tool right now in ChatGPT. People used it to take family pictures and turn them into animations, and you can do stupid, fun, crazy stuff with it. But it's kind of hard to make money doing that. So the idea here is I'm giving you ideas of how to use AI to truly make money in your business. Now, a lot of people that are watching are realtors. Some of my audience is going to be business owners. You can do the same thing no matter what you're selling, no matter who you are. You'll remember if you've played with images at all in AI before. You had a lot of problems with spelling. You had a lot of problems with gibberish. You had a lot of problems with inconsistency. If you said, hey, I like that, but make the wording smaller, it couldn't do it. It would start over and make something brand new from scratch. And instead, the system has been improved so much. Again, it takes a long time. I feel like I'm back in like 1992 and I'm hearing the AOL dial-up. Y'all remember those noises? Maybe some of you might not have been alive back then, but you hear that AOL dial-up noise and then you're waiting like 3 minutes for a web page to load. And then remember the first time you actually like got high-speed internet, and it wasn't that high speed, but man, was that awesome. Those are the days we're in right now. Like every single day, I'm seeing different things. So, hey, here's great. Economic uncertainty, what it means for homeowners like you. Don't repeat the title actually, I'm not even gonna bother because you saw how long it took to create the image. And so I don't need you to do it, but I can change anything I want about this and it will recreate it. So now I can say, you know what? First of all, I need to spell better. I am scared of doing a video right now. Can you just make this into a Facebook post that will compel my audience to call me to talk about their home value? Because I'm taking the same context, everything that I've got in that window, and it is now using that as its context to answer the next question. And so now it's cool. So here's an example. Homeowners, a lot happening behind the scenes right now. We're in a period of uncertainty. Give me a quick phone call to check in. And then it's checking in with me, like it's my partner. And it says, would you like a version with emojis dialed down, targeted more towards investors instead of primary homeowners? Yeah, investors, please. And so it's going to give me a version that's targeted towards investors. So deep research is the next level that I'm telling you the system can gather information that will blow your mind. You can literally ask it crazy stuff. You can ask it things about, quantum physics if you care to understand it or break it down. But the key is not always reading the thesis paper that it created. It's getting the brain of the AI tool to focus on what you want it to focus on. Again, I keep using the example of kids. It's like, hey, put your phone down. I want you to focus on what I'm teaching you. In schools, they've got everybody banning phones because it gets them to focus on what they're needing to do, which is learn. Well, I want to get this big brain that is AI to focus on what I want it to focus on. And what I want it to focus on is what I've just given it. I've pre-fed information in there. I primed the AI so that it is actually giving me the information that I want. You can do local market research with this. You can upload charts. I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to give you guys some examples. So you might have charts that you can get via Metrolist or via, anybody can find charts, economic data. In real estate, you're looking at, hey, what's happening in the local markets? And you can upload those charts, days on market and average list price to sales price. And you can ask it to do deep research analyzing your charts. It's taking your data. You can put in your database of past clients. Be careful. Be careful. Okay. Like they say, once something's on the internet, it never goes away. Do not put personally identifiable information on the web. Okay. Do not put it into AI. So be careful what you're putting in there. But could you dumb down a list of your past clients or your leads or your lead sources and where your leads have come from and have it analyze that data? Absolutely. And then it can help you use that information for future reference. It's one of my favorite things when I'm using AI. It knows a lot about me. Okay, I'm going to give you an example here really quickly. So I've been thinking for a long time about writing a book. and kind of having something that I can put my expertise down on paper, but I'm a little too ADD to literally sit down and write a book. And so I just literally this morning says, you know what, I'm thinking about writing a book and I want your help brainstorming it. I want it to be about explaining the mortgage process for business owners. I'm considering calling it Don't File Yet, a business owner's roadmap to mortgage financing. What do you think? And it says, wow, this sounds like a fantastic and much needed resource, leveraging your expertise as a mortgage banker. Okay. I didn't tell it that I'm a mortgage banker here, but it knows because I've put that into previous prompts. So this is where sharing your AI with other people can backfire. Now, that's the good news for the AI people because they want you to pay for a license for an account for each person. Okay. But there's a benefit because it gets to know who you are. It gets to know. So if I were to write in here, I am a realtor and I want you to blankety blank, well, then it's going to remember that I'm a realtor. So I'm going to be careful and I'm going to write, I'm helping one of my realtors and I want you to answer this question as if I was them. I'm maintaining consistency of my persona. I have multiple roles. I'm a loan officer. I run my branch, so I'm a branch manager. I'm a coach, professionally coach other loan officers. So I have multiple roles in my life that I use AI for. So sometimes I'll use different AI platforms for different of those roles, but for the most part, I've just told it, hey, I have multiple roles. And so I'm going to sometimes have to clarify, hey, I don't want you to answer this as me, the loan officer. I need you to answer this as me, the professional coach of loan officers. Oh, okay, cool. Then here's how I'm going to give you that answer. And it's going to give it context. Okay, so I gave it this and now it's brainstorming. I literally just said brainstorm with me. I didn't ask it to write the book. I'm saying brainstorm it with me. All right, so here's some strengths, here's some concerns. Overall, this is what I think. Brainstorming content and structure. Hey, here's some things that I want you to pay attention to. Here's kind of some outlines on here. Here's some alternative titles. I didn't ask it for any of that. I just said brainstorm. And it's like, whoo, here you go. I'm ready. Let's roll. And it might be overwhelming. And so sometimes you have to say, brainstorm one idea at a time and wait for my response. It's simply the smartest intern you've ever hired, and you have to understand how to talk to it. And so now it's saying, hey, here's your next steps. Let's talk about maybe we need a target reader profile so we can flesh out who the reader is. Is it a new business owner or established but growing in a specific industry? And it really is telling me, hey, I'm ready to help you to brainstorm further on any specific section or chapter idea. Now, in my expectation of this, I'm going to build it from the ground up like the foundation of a building. And so the first thing I have to do is the blueprints. And so in doing the blueprints, I'm going to say, hey, help me brainstorm ideas of topics. Now, the cool thing is you can actually talk to it. And so I would have a conversation. I would do it in a verbal method. Most of the systems have, each one is a little bit different on how it does it, but most of them have the ability for you to have a conversation. For example, I can go here in Grok and actually my microphone is in use, so I can't do it that way. If you use it on your phone though, you can actually have a conversation with it. And so if I got in here and where was I at? I was right here in Gemini. If I got in here and I opened up my phone app, I can literally talk to a voice. Hey, I want to continue the conversation we had earlier about my book. And I want to brainstorm, first of all, talk through this with me and help me come up with ideas. I can do that while I'm driving. Like literally, I'm on Bluetooth. I'm on my headset. I'm driving from one listing appointment to another listing appointment for my realtors in the room. And you can have a business conversation with AI, okay? All of the AI systems in some way or another have the ability to do voice. It's right here on ChatGPT. So I could use voice mode and I can just have a conversation with the model, with the AI, talking back and forth so that I can be more efficient. I'm on a walk and I can have a conversation with AI and just brainstorm for an hour. Hey, by the way, I want to change subjects and I want to talk about this. And it'll say, cool, let's go. It's all in one chat session. And then one of my favorite things to do is to end with, hey, recap everything that we've talked about as a summary for me. And I'll give you an example of that. So I am launching a podcast. So in 12 days, April 15th, I am launching a podcast, and it is called From Profits to Properties. So this is my quick pitch on it. But From Profits to Properties is I hope to be a valuable way for me to communicate to business owners. That's a big part of an area I think I can help people. I've not only been a professional coach for realtors, I mean for lenders, but I've been moderating groups of business owners locally for the last 15 years. And I think I have a lot that I can share with business owners. And so I figured, hey, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to teach them how to make more profit in their business so that in turn, they can build long-term wealth through real estate, whether that's buying their primary home, whether that's buying a luxury home, a new upgrade into a luxury home, or building a rental portfolio. I think I have a lot to teach people. So I went through with Grok, and I started not really knowing what I wanted to do. And so if I go all the way to the top, why did it not take me to the top? I went way too far. Okay, so I go all the way to the top. First of all, I started with, hey, do you have any memory? What do you know about me? And Grok doesn't have a memory. So I said, okay, fine. So I needed to tell it about who I am. And I said, but I'm thinking about doing a podcast. I want to talk about the pros and cons of doing it with you and how it will fit into my business. Interview me to help me decide if I should podcast, what topic, what name, and a podcasting strategy. And so it asked me the questions. Okay. It asked me the first question, hey, why a podcast? I answered that. Great. Who's your audience? I answered that. And I said, my coach wants me to focus on investors. I'm excited about that, but I feel like I want to focus on business people as well. And so it talked me through. We talked back and forth for probably about an hour. Okay. Through this whole conversation, we had a lot of, again, questions 6, 7, 8. We came up with ideas of topics and ideas of names and layout and all that stuff. I've already recorded my first one. So again, it launched on April 15th. But I get to the end here, and we've come up with ideas on all of this stuff. And I simply said, hey, cool. Provide me with a thorough breakdown of everything we've decided. I want to turn this into a reference document for use when creating the podcast or any marketing and social media posts about the podcast. Include any and all detailed instructions and suggestions that we may be able to reference later to make sure this is a successful venture. And it went through all of this. It gave me a recap of everything that we talked about. And I simply took this entire recap and I copied it into a Word document and I saved it on my computer. And now I can start a new chat in any system. I can do it because I did this in Grok, but I can go to ChatGPT. I could go to Gemini. Don't do as I say, not as I do. I jump from system to system because I understand the depth of nuances between them. For most of you who aren't using this at all, ignore that. Like just jump into one system. But you might want to start over a new chat. You might want to start over a new conversation. As a matter of fact, the further you get down a conversation, the more it forgets. So remember, super, super smart intern, but their long-term memory sucks. Like long-term memory is amazing, but their memory of once you start talking for more than a certain amount of time, people start tuning you out. I know that I've got maybe 15 more minutes at most, and I'm probably going to end sooner. And some of you already tuned me out. I get it because it just gets a little much. So ChatGPT, any of the AI systems have the same problem. The more you talk to them in the same conversation, the harder it is for it to remember the context of everything you're talking about. And so sometimes you got to start over in a new conversation. Wipe it clean, but you want to take a recap of what you've got as the seed of restarting the conversation. So I'm not going to keep going back to this same chat to talk about my podcast. Instead, what I will do is I will take that document that I've created as my playbook, and I use that as the starting point, as the seed to future conversations. So there's a lot that I've covered here. I've got a couple real quick things I want to recap, but I'm pretty much done with what I wanted to cover. I feel like a lot of you are probably pretty full. And so I want to open it up. If there is Q&A from anybody on the call, feel free to either unmute your microphone and ask me questions, or feel free to post into chat any questions that you have. The final thing I want to just, and I'm going to turn off my screen sharing here. The final thing that I want to really impress upon you, the world is going this direction. And if you're waiting on the sidelines, if you're saying, hey, this is just a fad, that's like people back in, the early 2000s, late 90s said, hey, that internet thing, that's just a fad. That's not really going anywhere. It's not just a fad, and it did go somewhere, and it's here to stay. And we all kind of learned over time, well, gosh, I guess we have to have a website because everybody needs to have a website. And then social media came along, and that's just a fad. And the truth is, the people that adopted social media the soonest got the best value out of it. I was just talking with a group of business owners this morning, and we had a social media expert on there, and he was saying, look, social media has continued to evolve over the years, and you get way less bang for your buck. The statistic he pulled up said that 3% of your audience at any given time will see any message you put out there. So if you have 100 followers and you post a message, 3 of them will see it. You have 1,000 followers and you post a message, 30 of them will see it statistically. That wasn't the case 5-10 years ago. Everybody saw it. Like, you saw everything that somebody posted that you were friends with, and you were able, as a salesperson, as a business owner, you were able to put content out there that would permeate, that the early adopters got a lot more bang for their buck. YouTube's a good example. Okay, I've had my YouTube channel since 2011, and I got nothing out of it for the first 9 years. It wasn't until 2019 I started really putting effort into it, and it took me really until 2022 before I started getting any leads. Literally last year, I got half of my leads from my YouTube channel and 10% of my closings. So I closed 106 loans last year. I closed 11 of them from my YouTube channel. That's a small percentage, but it's 11 loans that I wouldn't have closed otherwise. And actually, that number is higher because I closed, I can think of, well, anyway, but the point is, it takes time. And the earlier you adopt things like this, the more you're going to have the leverage of being one of the few people who are using it. So it's really an opportunity for you to dive in. It's why I'm teaching this the first Thursday of every single month at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I will be here, whether it's 0 of you or 45 of you. I'm going to present the information. I'll put it on my YouTube channel afterwards for you to follow up with if you cannot make it live. But I just really appreciate all of you, and hopefully you value this information. We will send those of you who we'll send everybody who registered the link. I have an AI website. I cannot remember what the heck I call it now. Anyway, so I'll send you the link. It's got all of my prior videos. You can also find them on my John Lone King YouTube channel. And it does not look like there's any questions. Christine, you are welcome. Everybody else, thank you for joining me. Hope you have an absolutely wonderful rest of the week. And we will talk to you all soon. By the way, I don't get paid for doing YouTube. I don't get paid for teaching AI. I get paid for doing mortgages. So if you know anybody who needs a mortgage, I would love the opportunity to help them out. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.